Hello, everyone. Welcome into Yelling from the Couch. I'm Brent Humphreys, joined once again by my co-host Gage Bertovich, and we are in Week 5 of the NFL, and things are not good over this way for multiple sports. Gage, you go over to Dublin, or not you personally, but your team goes over to Dublin and gets the big win over the Vikings. Man, you seem like you've had a pretty good week for football. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Yeah, no one knew this, but I actually traveled with the team over to Dublin, got a quick passport, flew over there. I was actually play calling for the first two quarters, and then Arthur Smith took over for the last half, and that's why they only scored 10, I think it was, in the last two quarters. But hey, that's beside the point. But no, doing great, feeling great. Not feeling too hot about the last 10 minutes of the game. That game was a lot closer score-wise than it should have been. 24-21 was the final. I left church, and the score was like 24-6. I was like, all right, cool. Got back here a half hour later, 24-21, and I'm like, what happened? But again, comes down to very last drive. I think I messaged you that was a Carson Wentz masterclass drive. He didn't do that against the Bengals, though, so I'm not too sure where that came from. But I'm doing great. I still have my starting quarterback, knock on wood. How are you doing? There's been a lot of ups and downs in multiple sports for you since we last talked.
Well, so in football land, it has not been good. College has been horrible. NFL has been even worse. And then the Reds got my hopes up for a couple of days, and then they went to LA and they're done for. So, like you said before we clicked record on this, we didn't even get a chance to even mention my excitement for the Reds playoff run that they've made it in. And by the time we click record, they made it out. I messaged you. I said, man, if this gets to a game 3 tonight, when we're recording, I'm going to be like having to mute myself or something during this. But, they had their opportunities last night. Tuesday night, not much opportunities at all. That game was pretty over quickly. Hunter Green was not good. But last night, 2 different times, bases loaded, and the Reds did not capitalize on the opportunity. And they're back home, and the Dodgers are heading to Philly.
So, we're talking about this. Do you remember the last time the Reds won a postseason game?
Yes, I do. 2012 against the San Francisco Giants in San Francisco. They were up 2-0. They come back to Great American Ballpark, and they lose 3 straight to the Giants. And Hunter Pence was on that team. He killed the Reds. But what I remember the most in game 3 of that, or game 5 of that, bases were loaded, Reds were down a few runs, and Buster Posey comes up and hits a grand slam to just completely crush the Reds' hopes and dreams. I thought the Reds would win the World Series that year. I thought they were that good, and then they blow it.
I just wanted to bring it up just to say that the Pirates have won a postseason game more recently than the Reds have.
Who did they beat in that postseason game?
Couldn't tell you. I feel like there's this chant, too, that happens to just be the last name of the pitcher maybe for the opposite team, and he dropped the ball. I don't really remember. Would you like to enlighten me?
No need to even talk about it. Neither here nor there on that.
Yeah, gotta love it. Like we said, didn't even get the chance to be like, all right, Reds are in the postseason, let's go. Before, coming back on here and being like, Reds are done for the season. All right.
The last time we talked about it, we was talking about Marte's game-saving catch, which was awesome. And then they go out and they beat Milwaukee Friday. They beat Milwaukee Saturday. The Mets go 1-1 in those games. Reds have to win, or the Mets lose for the Reds to get in. The Reds, of course, lose on Sunday to the Brewers. But the Marlins do their job and let the Reds in. And so, all right, hopes are up.
But talk about a masterclass failure by the Mets. I feel like they should have had that spot locked up. And for how many weeks were you talking the Reds are only 5.5 games out? They're only 2.5 games out. They are 1 game behind the Mets.
When the Reds went out to Sacramento and got swept to Oakland to the A's early in the month, I was like, there's no need to even bring up baseball on this podcast anymore. We're all football all the time. The Bengals are going to get off to a hot start. It's going to be all over with. And then the Reds are, they'll be done by the end of the season. And then the Mets just were like, we don't want this wild card. You take it. You will take it. And that's what happened.
But if anyone remembers from when we were doing like the preseason predictions here a couple months ago, we were both talking about baseball. And I was like, I got a couple weeks of hope and then I'm done. And you were like, by the All-Star break, my hopes for the Reds too are gone. And they just kept dragging you along, just inch by inch, little by little, until they were just like, nope, sorry, there it goes. Had to bring you on for a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? You could sneak into the playoffs here, and then we're going to disappoint you.
Yeah.
At least they made the playoffs, I guess. It's always next year.
For you.
You got Paul Skeens, so.
For how long? He's going to want a new contract, and they're going to be like, all right, we'll trade you to the Dodgers or the Yankees. We'll get their number 20th prospect in the system and two guys that you never heard of down in single A, and we'll be good to go for the future.
I had talked with Gordon a little bit on the podcast we've recorded that the MLB really needs a salary cap. Every other league has a salary cap. They don't have a salary cap. So all the good players, they go to L.A., they go to New York, they go to Chicago, and then the small market teams just don't have a chance. If you draft a superstar, you've got them for a few years. But once that time's up, they're gone because they can't afford them anymore. So they really need to implement a salary cap.
Unless it's Milwaukee, in which case, for some reason, this small market young team it feels like been good for a while. And that's just good coaching staff. But I agree. I think there needs to be a salary cap. But I think at the same time, you need a salary floor as well. Because if they put the salary cap at, say, $200 million, Bob Nutting will be like, all right, $80 million, here we go.
That's the way Castellini will be like, too. He'll be like, we don't have to spend that much, do we? That's fine. But, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, a floor would be great, too, on that, because that forces them to actually have to spend some of that money that they're just putting in their pockets.
Yeah, and players then can't demand these outrageous contracts.
Yeah, as they have. Like Scott Boras may be out of a job at that point in time, which would be fine with me. Tired of hearing of Scott Boras.
Yeah, get rid of him. Although he's already made his money, so I don't think he would be opposed to that.
Well, so there's the baseball talk for the week. Pittsburgh had a big win overseas. The other guy, the third man on the podcast, he had a pretty interesting Sunday night game there. He might as well went out and kissed his sister or something because his team tied 40-40, man, against the Cowboys.
Well, one thing, scoregami. So, hey, that's pretty cool. Games cannot end in a tie. They cannot end in a tie. I do not care how you do it. Change it to college rules. Yeah. You get the drive or you get the quarter, however they do it. Then you do 2-point conversions, and here we go. Whoever gets it, gets it. Whoever doesn't, doesn't. To stay up, I don't even know how long that game was. 3 hours, we'll say, for it to end in a tie. The most anticlimactic thing ever. And the way that they got there at the end of the fourth quarter, it's a quick touchdown, field goal. Okay, cool. We're tied up. Here we go. Excuse me. And then you go into overtime. You get 10 minutes. First of all, make it a normal quarter if you're going to do it. 15 minutes. Who says no to a little extra football like that?
Nobody.
But to end it in a tie is the dumbest thing ever. What other professional sport, for the most part, can you end in a tie? Hockey? Yes. But they at least have a way. They have their shootouts, and eventually it's like, all right, done. Baseball's not going to end in a tie. They'll go 27 innings if they have to. They'll play for 8 hours if they have to. Soccer, yeah. You got the shootouts. Basketball, I don't believe, ends in ties. I could be wrong, though. I don't watch basketball. So you want to keep changing the game. You want to change these dynamic kickoff rules, which it's been cool to see more kickoff returns. I will say that. But you want to change these rules, but you don't want to change the thing that affects a team record the most. Because when it gets right down to it, if you have a team sitting at 8-1 and a team, another team behind them sitting at 8-1 because they were divisional rivals and they tied in a game, well, gosh, now what do you go to next? You make it so one team wins, one team loses. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you do what Pat McAfee said. Put the kickers out there and let them have a kickoff. Just something to make it to where a team wins.
Yeah, that was what Gordon was saying. He's like, just put the ball at the 50 and we bring the kickers out and whoever misses first, they lose.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that game you all would have lost, definitely, because your kicker's not out kicking Aubrey. He's like, I understand that, but, and I'm like, man, even if they just went with the college rules, there's no ties in college football anymore. Put it at the 30-yard line, whatever. And whatever, I mean, something's got to give here with this tie stuff. And like after the game's over with, George Pickens didn't even know that games can end in ties. I'm like, bro, what league are you in? You've been in this league for how long and you don't know the rules? I get it. It sucks. It should never happen, but those are still part of the rules right now. You got to know the rules, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, he came from Pittsburgh, where I don't think a game ever got close to being tied one way or another. But I did see someone say, like, they should have all 22 starters, offense and defense, each take a kick from 30 yards out. Whoever makes the most wins. I was like, that would be entertaining, and you would be able to know who works on it in practice and who does not.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even have to be like, because the thing is player safety is what they say. They don't want to have the games going on so long because of player safety. Yeah, so let's add another game at the end of the season, right? Let's make 18 games in the season. Let's add a 17th. Let's add an 18th. But, yeah, we're worried about player safety, so you can't play an extra 5 minutes in overtime to win a game. Come on.
Yeah, and if you just do the college OT rules, chances are you're going to play less football. So
college OT rules, so, like, they start at the 25 for the first overtime. Second overtime, they start at 25, and you have to go for 2 if you get a touchdown. And then after that, the ball's placed at the 2-yard line, and it's a 2-point conversion until somebody misses. So you're running one play for each overtime after that. That's a lot less plays than what you're going to run in a 10-minute overtime.
And you'll get a lot more scoregamis that way probably too, so that would be even cooler.
Yeah, we're all for scoregamis on this podcast for sure. But, yeah, so, Gordon, messing up our pick'ems here. It's going to have a weird number on it when I throw it up here in just a second. And then Monday night, there was 2 Monday night games. There's no need to talk about them. All right, so let's go on to the last week 4 picks. And boy, I went 9-5-1. You went 7-7-1, and Gordon went 8-6-1. Overall, I'm 41-18-1. You're 38-21-1, and Gordon's bringing up the rear at 36-23-1.
I don't like having the tie at the end.
No, and I was like, what do I do here? And I'm like, oh, the tie, because we all picked the Packers. Like, thanks a lot, Jordan Love.
I feel like we're going to have to start picking ties now.
If we can correctly pick a tie, I just wonder what the odds are on, like, DraftKings. It's got to be a lot.
If one of us can correctly predict a tie, I think that person wins just for the entire season. Does not matter the record at the end of the year.
I think so. I think that is fair enough with me. If anybody picks a tie and it ends in a tie, you're automatically winner. We're just playing for fun at the rest of this.
One of us is going to do it. One of us is going to pick a tie and it's going to happen.
And it's going to be Gordon. He's going to be like, Lions-Bengals tie. He didn't do that, but I mean, if he did, and it'd be like, Gordon, enough with your ties, okay?
He'll come back on the podcast in about 5 weeks and just pick a random game. It'll be like Cardinals, Panthers. Yeah, I think it ends in a 23-23 tie. How did we get there, Gordon?
Man, you've got too much ties in your life, all right? So, so there's been a lot of injuries this season. This past week, a lot of injuries. And that's going to lead us into our next little segment here, Gage, and that would be...
From turf to tears, it's Injury Fears. Who's sidelined this week in Gage's fantasy sphere?
Yeah, so about that. Well, we still got Aaron Jones on IR. I believe this will be week 3 of that. Who knows if he'll come back when he's, first eligible. CD Lamb still out. His ankle injury. Not as bad as Tyreek Hill. At least CD Lamb will be back this season. Hopefully. Knock on wood. And then we both took a big hit this week. Just a little bit of quarterback action. Lamar Jackson hurt. Out. Was a hamstring injury, I believe that they said. Yeah. Out this week. Status, let's see here. It says, suffered a hamstring injury against Kansas City. His status for a week 5 matchup against Houston is in doubt, so probably gonna not play. His absence, blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't say exactly how long he will be out for. So it's probably a week-to-week basis, which is not good. It's probably going to be 2 to 3 games. So what do I got to do? Who's my quarterback for this week? Well, my backup's Jordan Love. Oh, guess what? The Packers are on a bye. So I got to go pick someone up. Someone needs to play the quarterback position for my very non-PG fantasy team. We go out, and I don't even remember who I dropped. Can't find it. Not going to look at it. Look for it here for a second. And I'm looking. I'm like, who is available? Well, let me tell you something. Not a lot of people were available. I was right. I dropped Bayshall Tootin to pick up this guy. Quarterback-wise, the top available one is Bryce Young. Well, it's not a very good option.
9-yard field goal, sorry. 59-yarder, Eddie Pinero.
Nice. Way to go, Eddie. It sounds like the 49ers actually found their kicker.
It didn't have to draft him in the third round either.
And then we got Jake Browning, who, no comment. We know that's not good. Trevor Lawrence is hit or miss. Okay, week 1, great week 2, just happened to be against Cincinnati. Horrible week 3, and then a meh last week. Geno Smith, Spencer Rattler, Carson Wentz, Sam Darnold, Cooper Rush, Mac Jones, Cam Ward, Dylan Gabriel. All people who I don't want on my fantasy team. So who do I pick up? I pick up the guy that I wish the Steelers would have drafted this past year. Give me Jackson Dart or the New York Football Giants. Now, I know he is without Malik Neighbors. He didn't do bad last week. 111 passing yards and a touchdown. But he also added on 10 rushing attempts for 54 yards and another touchdown to give him 19.84 fantasy points. If I can get 15 out of him, I'll take that. It's at New Orleans, and we know the Saints defense is trash. So why not? And then another one, not injury related, but I've been talking for the last 2 weeks how bad the running back room is on this fantasy team. We had Travion Henderson, Zach Charbonnet, Nick Chubb. I got to add someone to that because this just is not helping. I lost by 2 points last week. A little bit because Lamar got hurt. A little bit because the running backs suck. So we go and drop DJ Moore because he's just been underperforming. Bears are on a bye week this week anyways. Not going to use him, obviously. And we go and we pick up the guy that we hope, we pray, is going to be the Arizona Cardinals starter and Michael Carter. He was not last week. Amari DeMarcado was actually the one that played. He had 1 rushing attempt last week for 1 yard. So I'm really hoping that volume picks up a little bit. I'm still debating whether or not to start him. I have Charbonnet and Nick Chubb as the starters. So we're hurting. We're sitting at 1-3. We need a win this week. I'm going against a stacked team that has Kyler Murray, Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Evan Ingram, Amarian Hampton, the Bills defense, and Matthew Prater.
Whoa.
Looking at this team, I'm like, how did they get that? But if Jamar Chase can do what he did last week, I might have a chance.
Man, let's not say that.
But that's who's injured, who's benched, who's dropped, who's added on the fantasy team. Do you have anyone else to add besides Lamar Jackson?
No, actually pretty healthy for the most part on mine. Lamar and CD are the two that I'm worried about right now that's out. But everybody else on my end, pretty healthy actually. Like I said before we started this, I picked up a little running back out of New York, Cam Scatterbo. So I'm pretty excited about throwing him in the lineup this week.
He is going to have the most entertaining 3 to 4 year career of any running back ever. But the way he finds someone to hit. He could have 40 yards open green downfield, and he will curve to hit that safety. It's entertaining as heck to watch him.
There was a picture of him where he has grass stains on his jersey, and they play on turf. And they're like, how did he get the grass stains? And somebody's like, this right here is a picture of CTE at its finest right here. I was like, yeah, probably.
The way that the guy runs, he looks like Derrick Henry, but more head. It's just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, one of the more entertaining backs for the next 4 to 5 seasons. And then, unfortunately, the guy's going to probably be out of the league because he probably won't be able to walk.
I hope he stays around long enough to get, a decent contract from a team, get the money, and then, unfortunately, he might Antonio Brown. But I think he'll be okay for now.
If he turns out to be Antonio Brown, I mean, man, that would be a huge change for the guy. But that would be, CTE, man. CTE ESPN, right?
CTE does a lot to a man.
Yeah, obviously makes you quit right in the middle of the game. Oh well, so there's Gage's who's injured on Gage's fantasy team. It could be a lot worse. There's a lot of injuries going around right now. The league. Tyreek Hill, as we mentioned, snapped every ligament I believe in his leg. Gruesome, nasty injury there. Trey Benson, the backup running back for the Cardinals, he's out I believe for the season. Maybe I think it said. Who else got injured? There was another injury that was pretty big out for the season. Malik Neighbors towards ACL. And
I got one. Jalen Ramsey, hamstring injury. He had a potential fumble recovery for a touchdown that got called back, and his celebration was a fake hamstring pull. And then later in the game came around, and he did pull his hamstring. Came back into the game, finished the game, but now he's, I don't know, questionable or doubtful, but it's a hamstring injury. Talk about karma coming full circle on that.
yeah, karma coming back and biting real quick. Yeah, within a few minutes there. But the 49ers are playing right now. They're ahead 23-20 with whatever Kendrick Bourne is having a heck of a ball game. Mac Jones, he went down a while ago with a little knee injury, came back. Brock Purdy came back last Sunday, played, and then is out this week. Maybe they brought him back a little early, maybe give him this little mini bye, and then come back after that. I don't know. Jawan Jennings is out. Ricky Pearsall's out. Brandon Ayuk's out. George Kittle's out. I mean, just keep going. Nick Bosa. Man, I feel like we talk about this with the Niners every year. They've got the most talent, and they get most injured every time. They can't stay healthy.
But somehow they find these guys, like you mentioned, Kendrick Bourne, 10 catches, 142 yards.
Yeah, right.
McCaffrey behind him, 6 for 60 and a touchdown. Demarcus Robinson, 3 for 39. Jake Tongus,
yeah.
Yeah, 5 for 29 and a touchdown. MVS has a catch. Luke Farrell has a catch. They're finding these guys, and it's working. And I don't understand why.
Kyle Shanahan, man, I guess it's that offensive system. But did Kendrick Bourne have 142 yards his whole time in New England? I mean,
that's a very good question. I
don't know.
No idea.
I don't know, but man, he has looked awesome tonight stepping into that, spotlight, taking over for all. I mean, he's become the number one target right now. So yeah. I don't know what you do when everybody else comes back, but I mean, right now you've got to play Kendrick Bourne, right? Oh, Kyron, break it. There we go. That's a big run. Entertainment purposes only, of course.
Of course. He actually, Kendrick Bourne in New England had one very decent season, 800 yards, 5 touchdowns. The rest of the seasons were there.
So was Mac Jones his quarterback when he had the good season? Maybe it's a chemistry thing with him.
Now you're making me click more on PFR, and man.
Just call me a moron.
Mac Jones was the quarterback.
Yeah, see? So look, just piecing it together as we go right here. So, hey, whatever works, I guess, for him.
Yes, because, man, and then was this another Mac Jones year? It was Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne's first year together in New England was his best season of his career.
Now they're reunited in San Francisco, and the Rams, there's 1:07 left in this game, and the Rams are down 3, and they're about to score a touchdown and probably win this game after San Francisco has been up the whole time.
They're going to score, and then Magic Mac is going to be able to lead them downfield for a game winner. Eddie Pinedo, 63-yarder.
I'm for it. I'd like to see that. So that's going to lead us into our picks coming up this week. And Gage, let's go ahead and let's get started with the first game of the week after this one, of course, and that is the Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns at 9:30 a.m. on the NFL Network, live from London. Minnesota is a 3.5-point favorite. Gage, do you like Europe's favorite team in this one? Or do you like the brand new starting quarterback in Cleveland?
I also just got to say first, I just saw Kyron's big run. So the delay in my streaming compared to yours is insane. This was kind of a hard one. Watching the Vikings last week, the defense. Okay, Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, Kyron Williams. What are we doing?
Man, anyways, that literally just happened. I was like, wow, peanut punch.
So watching the Vikings last week, the defense, incredible. They got an awesome defense. I messaged you at one point during the game that Chris Boswell had a field goal blocked. And, of course, it was Isaiah Rodgers that did it.
Who else?
Yeah, right? This guy's running for Defensive Player of the Year, maybe? Who knows at this point? The Browns mentioned it. They're going to a new quarterback. Joe Flacco is just not bringing the energy that they want, which who really thought that he would? So they're going to turn to Dylan Gabriel, and Joe Flacco is going to remain quarterback number 2. And when Shedeur Sanders found that out, he didn't give an answer. Apparently, he was mocking someone from comments on ESPN. Not too sure if that's true, but regardless, pretty sure he's not happy about it. Can't blame him. But you're not going to put Joe Flacco as the emergency quarterback either. Carson Wentz sucked for the most part. He did throw 350. He put up 350 yards, but I would hope that you can put up 350 yards when you throw the ball 50 times. Like, come on. But the running game, I think we both expected it to be kind of huge last week for Minnesota. Jordan Mason, not that great of a game. I believe they held the entire Vikings team to under 100 yards. Meanwhile, they let up 99 yards to Kenneth Gainwell and 2 rushing touchdowns, which who would have thought? Not me.
Nobody.
At all. He was available at one point in my fantasy league, and I didn't take him. But that's beside the point. So I can't go with the Browns. Only reason being the Vikings, now this is their second game in a row, international. They're already over there. They're already basically acclimated to it. The Browns are coming overseas. I'm going to assume that they're already there, but they might be leaving tomorrow. I'm not too sure. And it's just the Browns. Give me the Vikings in this one. Give me the points. But I do expect a decent debut from Dylan.
Yeah, so Minnesota, they are still in Europe, so another week there, second straight week, this time facing a Browns team turning to the rookie quarterback Dylan Gabriel. Cleveland's defense remains elite, but its offense has been turnover-prone and ineffective, with the Vikings boasting a disruptive front and more international experience. Expect a gritty, low-battle score. Carson Wentz last week on that last drive, he really winced things up, right? He tried to give the ball away how many times, I believe, on the last drive. I mean, just classic Carson Wentz. But the Browns, as you mentioned, Shedeur is going over, he was doing his little mime thing or whatever he was doing. I mean, whatever. He's not happy about the change, but we all have predicted this. They're not going to start Shedeur over Dylan Gabriel, who they picked in the 3rd round, when they picked Shedeur in the 5th round. So, everybody else seen this, apparently, except for Shedeur Sanders. But I think Shedeur will get time to play eventually in this season. But this is going to be a low-scoring game right here. Both of these defenses are elite. But give me the Vikings in this one. I think Cleveland covers.
So I'm laughing, not because of this. So, of course, I've mentioned on this show, my roommate loves to send me his bet slips, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had a 7-legger for tonight's game between the Niners and the Rams. Christian McCaffrey, 100-plus all-purpose yards. That hits.
Uh-huh.
Mac Jones, 170-plus passing yards. That hits by over 100. Yeah. Devontae Adams, 40-plus receiving. Hits. Matthew Stafford, 250-plus. That hits. Jake Tongs, 15-plus receiving yards. That hits. Kyron Williams, 50-plus rushing yards. That hits. The one that doesn't hit, Puka Nacua, 80-plus receiving yards. He ends the night with 76.
Man.
But there's no way I'm going to cry. 4 bleeping yards. 4.
And it's from Puka, although they got the ball right now. The Rams have the ball with 42 seconds left. But Puka, who leads the league in receiving with like 125 yards average per game, and he's well under that. Oh, man. Yeah, that's tough right there. So, Gordon, and you both went with the Vikings in this one, and Gordon went with the Browns. There's Puka, and it's dropped. A long pass down the field, man. But, so Gordon goes with the Browns. The first upset of the day, Gordon picks the Browns.
Gordo, you want to lose? Like, come on.
Already. He did say that there's a lot of dogs in this week's picks, so be prepared. Buckle up. All right, so the next matchup, 1 o'clock. The Houston Texans travel to Baltimore to face the Baltimore Ravens on CBS. Houston is a 2.5-point favorite on the road. Gage, what do we think here?
There's a lot of, I don't even know how you want to call it. You look at this matchup before the season, and it's like, all right, I can get down with this. And now it's Cooper Rush versus C.J. Stroud, and the Ravens defense is looking for people off the street. I guess they tried to sign Eric Kendricks here earlier today, yesterday maybe, and he declined. I'm not too sure what that tells you right now about the Ravens defense, but it's a bad defense right now going against a bad offense with the Texans. And neither one has been very impressive yet. Ravens defense just because they're hurt badly. They're going to rely a lot on the run game with Derrick Henry. Hopefully he doesn't fumble the ball away. But Cooper Rush, we've seen some good things out of him in his career. His best game, I will never forget it, comes Cowboys uniform. I don't remember exactly the year because I try to forget it, but it was against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cooper threw for, I don't know, it felt like 5,000 yards in that game and 7 touchdowns. Close to a victory. Steelers defense, though, stepping it up like usual. Cannot ride with the Texans. I cannot ride with their offense. I love the defense. We have mentioned it so many times and have been told by so many people how good this Texans defense is. I'm going to take the Ravens in this one, but I think it's going to be a very close game. Obviously, being the underdogs, I think they'll cover with the Ravens pick, but I'm not excited to pick the Ravens because they're division rivals, but I will take them.
Whoa, all right. So a little bit of an upset, home upset. It is kind of strange to sit here and look at these picks and see the Baltimore Ravens as a 2.5-point dog at home also, especially against the Texans teams who, quite frankly, has not lived up to the hype. They got their first win of the season last week where they faced the Tennessee Titans in a 26-0 beatdown. Okay, that's the Titans. So did you really prove a whole lot in that game? Not really. So whatever. Texans, Ravens, Houston's defense, they've struggled though against mobile quarterbacks, but Baltimore does not have their mobile quarterback this week as Lamar is out with a hammy. They got Cooper Rush. I don't know how he'll do out there. Like, he's serviceable as a backup. He come in for Dak a few years ago with the Cowboys. I think he led him to like a 9-5 record or something like that. Not bad for, what I considered at the time a great value, Andy Dalton, the redhead. And C.J. Stroud and the Texans offense has been lackluster, to say the least. And 6 seconds left off Devontae's hands. 3rd and 10. Houston could still win on the road here. And it wouldn't really be a steal because, well, they're the favorites. So give me the Texans in this one as well. I think that they win only because I don't think the Ravens, they're 1-3 right now. And without Lamar, I don't know, man. That they're going to rely on that run. Derrick Henry has not been the guy. He hasn't been getting the touches either, really. I don't know what they're saving him for. Somebody says like load management already, and we're going to overtime in this game right here. Field goal. Second week in a row, we're going to overtime with NFC West teams. Like, what is going on here? Okay, but yeah, I got the Texans winning this one. Like I said, Derrick Henry has not gotten the load. They said he's like load management in the NBA. Where you kind of rest the player during the season, save him for the playoffs. Well, if you don't have a good enough record, what are you saving this guy for? Yeah. Justice Hill got more touches than he did last week, and he deserved it. He played pretty good. But give me the Texans in this one, and Gordon also has the Texans, so Gage, you are on the island by yourself.
But it also makes me wonder if there's like an undisclosed injury going on with Derrick Henry. Maybe he has a little bit, maybe a sore hamstring. But maybe it's enough to where he can still play, but not get the numerous amount of touches that we're used to seeing in the past. Maybe it's just age, too. Maybe they don't want to wear down his body.
I think, it may be turf toe, too. That's a dangerous injury for a lot of folks this year. But what I think it is, though, I really think that maybe age has finally caught up to him. All those years of the hard running and everything, you can't keep that up forever. And maybe time has finally caught up with Derrick Henry. Time will tell, I guess, this season.
Do you think Cooper Rush, he's been under Dak for how long, all right? Do you think he will keep the, here we go, before his pre-snap?
Well, that'd be interesting to see then, won't it, this Sunday? But I don't know. I'd like to see if he does it or not. Maybe it's just out of habit. I didn't pay attention last week if he did it or not. Did you?
No, I was not watching the game, so I have no idea.
It was a blowout by the time he got in the game, so, that's, nobody was really watching at that point in time.
He was just like, yeah, let's go.
Speaking of the game that nobody's going to be watching, this Sunday at 1 o'clock, the Giants travel to New Orleans to face the New Orleans Saints on CBS. New Orleans is a 1.5-point favorite. Gage, how do you think your new fantasy starting quarterback will fare in his first start?
I know you say no one will be watching this. I will not be at work, so I'll be here watching games. My team's on a bye. I have a lot invested into this one with Jackson Dart on the team and just want to watch CT Scatabo run some people over. So I believe that they will have at least one viewer, and it's going to come from this Yelling from the Couch podcast in the Steelers fan. The Saints they're a 1.5 point favorite.
Yeah, I read that right. I did not mistype that this time. That is read right.
Spencer Rattler, he has not been bad. Oh, you got to give credit where credit's due. He has not been bad. Just the Saints team in general is awful. They're 0-4. They have not had a single win, and they are looking for their first win. Rattler on the season has completed over 67% of passes, 765 yards, 5 touchdowns to 1 interception, and that's just passing numbers. That does not include if he has any rushing numbers. So not horrible for a guy who I think we were all like, oh, this is going to be awful. They're going to go to Tyler Shuck. They might trade for Jameis Winston. They're going to do some weird stuff. Right now, this is Rattler's job. At what point, though, do you say, yeah, you know what? You're playing very good, but we need a win. And do you go to Tyler Shuck? Do you go out and sign a quarterback? Who's their emergency quarterback? I couldn't even tell you. I'm trying to remember the guy's name we were talking about here in the preseason and don't even know that.
Hunter Deckers.
Hunter Deckers. All right. Do they go, you know what, Deckers? It's Decker season. Here we go. I doubt that'll happen. However, I'm going to roll with my man Jackson Dart and Cam Scatabo and the no-name receivers that they have out there right now. Give me the Giants. They're the underdogs, not my underdog pick of the week. But give me the Giants to get a away victory.
Jackson Dart heading into his first road start in the NFL. After a surprising win over the undefeated Chargers last week. I mean, who saw that coming? Especially when Malik Neighbors went out with a torn ACL. He'll be without Malik Neighbors once again. And he's got Wan'Dale Robinson, and he's got Cam Scatabo, and he's got other guys out there. So the defense isn't too bad for the Giants either. They played a lot better than, the second week against the Cowboys, but I think maybe the Cowboys offense may be kind of pretty good, actually. So, you really can't knock them on that. I think this will be a good game here. Not really. It's going to be close. It's not going to be a good game, but it's going to be close is what I mean. The Saints are still winless. They're desperate to get a win. Their offense, they've struggled a lot this season. The Bills last week, they had the Bills. It was a close game with the Bills for a while. It was 21-19, and you're just like, nobody's watching the Bills Saints, right? Unless you're a Bills fan. Even if you're a Saints fan, you're probably not watching that game. But you look up at the score and you see 21-19 Bills in the third quarter, and you're like, did Josh Allen get hurt? It's like, no, he's still playing. I'm like, what's going on here then? And then, they kind of pull away at the end, like 31-19 or whatever it was. But for a little while, they had a little bit of hope. I think the hope is not going to stick around this week. Give me the Giants in this one. I think the Giants win. Of course, they cover because of the dogs. And Gordon also goes with the Giants. So we're all together on that one.
And the Giants do got some guys. Looking at it right now, there are 3 receivers. Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt. There's something there. There's definitely something. Jalen Hyatt's got speed. I know that.
Yeah.
That's about all he has.
Former Tennessee wide receiver. He lit up Kentucky. He had like 6 catches for like 6 touchdowns, it felt like, in one game. I'm like, great, dude. Just go routes all day long. But, yeah. He's going to miss Malik Neighbors, of course, but he's got some other – he can make some things happen. Got to feel better with him back there than you would Russ at this point.
Yes, unless it's against the Cowboys.
Unless it's against the Cowboys. And then you're like, all right, we could throw anybody out there. Cam Scatabo, welcome. Come on down. You're playing quarterback this week. So the next matchup we got, this one could be a good one. The Denver Broncos travel to Philly, 1 o'clock on CBS to face the Eagles. Philly is a 3.5-point favorite at home. Gage, what are we thinking here?
Philly got out to a very good start the last week against Tampa Bay. The game ended a lot closer than what it probably should have. Philly did end up winning it. Another blocked kick by the Eagles special teams unit of the year coming in. Like, this is insane. I don't know who their special teams coach is, but shout out to you because you're doing an incredible job. Or the opposing team is just awful on special teams and you're getting lucky. But hey, either one, it works out. The Broncos coming off a win against a certain team that was very dominant, but the team that they were playing wasn't great. They did hold a star receiver to very limited yardage and just overall was not anywhere close to being a fun game to watch. I'm going to go with the favorite. Give me the Eagles in this one, and I do believe they cover. I think they get out to another fast start and are just able to keep the pace up.
So this is a battle of two pretty good defenses right here between the Broncos and the Eagles. Both of those are pretty top of the league defenses. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are still undefeated. Jalen Hurts didn't have did he have like 0 passing yards in the second half last week? Like that. And they still come out and win. Like, how are you guys doing this? Like, what's going on? A.J. Brown, not very happy right now in Philadelphia. But I feel like we have this conversation at least 3 times every season since we've been doing this. A.J. Brown's not happy with this situation. Last year, he was reading a book on the sidelines. This year, he's quoting Bible verses at the end of the game. So it's hard to say, really what's going on over there with them. And then, Denver, on the other hand, they beat a certain team last week 28-3. Does it say much about Denver, or does it say more about the Bengals? Well, let's just say this. The Bengals offensive line, let's just go to it right now. Let's get into it right now while we're here. We danced around it this whole time, 47 minutes into this podcast. We're going to talk about it right now. The Bengals offensive line, they had 5 offensive linemen. The Denver Broncos were rushing 3. And what do the Bengals do? They take 4 guys to block one guy to block another guy. The math doesn't add up because guess what? There's still one guy free. What are we doing out here? And we wonder why our $250 million quarterback is hurt year after year. And we can't get a passing game going. We can't get the running game going. We can't get a lineman to come out here and just 4-on-1. Yeah, we stopped the one guy, but we can't stop the others. Anyways, give me the Eagles in this one. I think the Eagles win this game once again. I think they cover. Gordon also has the Eagles.
I know I've complained in the past about how bad the Steelers' O-line is, but I think you have the crown for a horrible O-line.
And it's year after year after year after year after year. Every year Joe Burrow comes in there. He come in there the first year and like, oh, it's the crappy FedEx Field at Washington. And maybe it is. The next year, like, 9 times getting sacked at Tennessee. Oh, ain't it cool, though? He's Joe Shiesty out here. It's all good. He dances around, does all this stuff. And the next year, like, hey, guess what? We're going to beef up the offensive line. Oh, wait, no, what? Alex Kappa absolutely sucks. And he's going to keep giving up these sacks over here. Oh, we need a new left tackle. Let's go get Orlando Brown from the Chiefs. He's got Super Bowl experience. Let's get him. Oh, wait, now we need a right tackle because Leal Collins didn't pan out the way we thought he would. So let's get Amarius Mims out here, a first-round pick from Georgia. And he comes out here, and guess what? He's a rookie still. He hasn't got the experience. So guess what? He's going to get beat every once in a while. And then all of a sudden, it's like, guess what? Our quarterback's out once again.
Dude, I'm crying. Oh, my God. We'll give you Broderick Jones.
I've had a few things bottled up the last few days, so I'm just letting it out. Yelling from the couch.
What better place to do it?
What better place to do it right now? Anyway, so yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody has them on this one, so there we go. Our next matchup. This could be an intriguing matchup here, too. I believe these two teams played both of these games these two teams played in last week were probably 2 of the more entertaining games of last week's schedule, actually. The Dallas Cowboys travel to New Jersey to face the New York Jets at 1 o'clock on Fox. Dallas is a 2.5-point favorite. Gage, what do we think about this one here?
Had to do that because I knew it was going to be loud and I was afraid I was going to miss.
I thought you were going to say trash is what you thought about this right here.
Oh, that would have been great. Oh, man, I need to start thinking about that. Again, we get into the talk that we had at the beginning of the podcast. We cannot end in ties. Although if this Thursday night game keeps going the way that it's going, we might end in another tie. But that's beside the point. I think the Jets were picked last week on this podcast. I believe. I know I did. Gordon did too. That's right. And
this guy picked the Dolphins.
Yeah. Well, your Dolphins pick, you know what? They might have won, but at what cost? All right.
Or Tyreek. Tua probably eventually, no doubt.
Yeah, C2, but yeah, it's fine. And the field goal kick is off the post, and it's good. All right. So, I don't know.
Puka with a catch.
Do I have a text message? Nope, he's probably asleep. Oh,
I'll be excited when he wakes up.
$150 deposited into his account. Yeah. So, Fields broke off one of probably the most electrifying runs of the season last week. What was it, 48-yard touchdown run? goes to his right first, reverses course, goes down the left sideline, and somehow scores. That's the Justin Fields of the Chicago Bear days. He had the one good season where he rushed. It was either 1,000 yards or got very close to it. I think he was a 1,000-yard rusher. I believe I saw a thing earlier today. They were like one of 3 teams or something in NFL history to have over 3,000 combined rushing yards in a season for a team. So between DeMont and Fields and whoever else was out there, probably Khalil Herbert, they were able to achieve that.
Former Bengal Khalil Herbert.
Yeah. Hey, he did great with them too. But I don't trust the Jets offense as much as I trust the Cowboys offense. Even without CD Lamb, I'm still taking the Cowboys offense over the Jets offense. However, the one thing that the Jets got going for them is the college connection. Justin Fields to Garrett Wilson. Is it there? Is it not? It's been there. It has been there. They've done very well. Dallas is a 2.5-point favorite. I'm going to roll with the favorites. Give me the Cowboys in this one, and I believe that they cover as well.
As I mentioned, both these teams last week played 2 of the more entertaining games of the week, especially if you like offense. Dallas is going to put up points, as we found out early in the season. They're putting up points no matter the defense. I mean, they put up 20 against Philly, who's got a great defense. They put up 40 against Green Bay, who we thought were Super Bowl elite defense. The Jets, like you said, that play that Justin Fields made, that play was going absolutely nowhere, and he took it to the house like it was nothing, like it was effortless for him. He's that kind of an athlete if he can get it all together. Him and Garrett Wilson, they need to throw the ball to each other. I mean, he needs to get him more involved. I mean, he still gets like 5 or 6 catches. I can't remember what he had last week, but it still feels like he needs more touches. Sometimes doesn't look like he even looks his way. I don't know, but both these teams, I expect a high-scoring game in this one. I think this is going to be an entertaining game right here. The Cowboys without CD Lamb. Turpin has really come on the last couple of weeks. That guy right there is electric. Jake Ferguson, he's good for about 50 yards every game now with, as a tight end. Give me the Cowboys in this one. I think that the Cowboys win. I think that they cover. Gordo is going with the Jets.
Ooh, okay. He loves his Jets team for some reason.
He does.
It's funny that we mentioned Khalil Herbert. I did not mean to do this, but I remembered earlier that he signed with the team to an active roster, and it just so happened to be the Jets after they placed Braylon Allen on IR. So that was not planned, but we're going to say it was.
4th and 1 right now, the Rams. They got a chance to kick the field goal to tie. What are they doing? They're going for it.
All right,
3:41 left in the game, so we'll see how that goes.
Third down play yet. We just had the second down catch.
Well, they're trying to draw them off sides. Oh, wait, here they go. Safford comes back. They're drawing them off sides, and they're going to the sidelines with a timeout. They're going to kick a field goal. All right, so
it's going to end in a tie.
This ends in a tie. After we've talked about a tie, it's got to be the most NFL thing. It's like the great philosopher Rowdy Roddy Piper once said. Once you think you have all the answers, the NFL changes the questions. All right. So the next matchup we got, 1 o'clock, the Oakland Las Vegas Raiders travel to Indy to face the Indianapolis Colts at 1 o'clock on Fox. Indy is a 6.5-point favorite, coming off of their first loss of the season. Gage, what do you think?
Yeah, real quick update. I just get a text that says bang, bang, bang. So I'm going to assume that he's happy.
They're going for it, and they're stuffed. Niners win. Kyron Williams up the middle, and he got stuffed. Short.
Why would you kick the field goal, bro? What are you doing?
Wow. What a win, though, for the Niners on the road.
Man, what a game. What a game.
Yeah, Thursday night's been putting out bangers. The NFC.
But back to the pick'ems. The Colts lost their first game last week. I say Adonai Mitchell lost his first game last week.
Oh, my gosh. You talk about him.
2 touchdowns lost because of him. One that you're an NFL receiver. You're a professional. You're not a rookie, so it's not a rookie mistake. You fumbled it through the end zone. No one touched you because you were celebrating.
Happens every year for whatever reason.
And I don't get it. And it's not that are doing it. It's these guys who have been in the league for multiple years. And it does not make any sense. And then he had a holding penalty, I believe it was, on a Jonathan Taylor long run that he did not need to do it at all. JT was scoring. And because of that, they end up losing. And finally making me look like an idiot for picking them and believing in Indiana Jones. So Not Jones's fault. I will put that loss strictly on Adonai Mitchell. The Raiders. Geno, I don't know what the problem is this year. I think it's just the Raiders in general. How many times did I mention him in weeks past? Oh, he's been very accurate throughout his entire career. He's been great. 70% completion rate. Oh my gosh, this guy, he's going to be incredible for this team. The Raiders found their quarterback. 3 interceptions last week. 117 total yards. 2 touchdowns. I believe both to Ashton Genty. And 66% completion rate, which is actually the second highest of the season so far for him. He is at one of his lowest points in completion percentage rate in his career right now at 63.8. Not a good look at all for the guy that I hyped up for accuracy. However, you got Ashton Genty, who he decided last week, I'm going to return to my Michael Myers stance and see what we can do. And the guy rushed for 138 yards and a touchdown on 21 attempts. That is, I believe, higher or at least very close to his season total before that from weeks 1 to 3. And it's the most touches that they've given him in a game so far this year. Keep feeding this guy the ball. He has the it factor. You drafted him for the it factor, and you give him 19, 11, and 17 touches in the first 3 weeks. And then you're like, you know what? I think this guy's kind of good. Let's give him the ball. And then you throw it to him twice. 2 catches, 17 yards, 2 touchdowns. Okay. He had a fumble. I don't even care about that. You had a great game. Oh, man, this is a hurtful game because do the Colts get back on track, or does last week really just throw them off and Indiana Jones is all befuddled? Give me the Colts. 6.5-point favorites. I think it's going to be a close game. Give me the Colts. Give me a Raiders cover.
Yeah, so the Colts last week, they're still, I would say Daniel Jones is still hot out there. I mean, it really hadn't cooled off. Still looked pretty good last week. They should have won that game. As you mentioned, Mitchell running into the end zone like he's a 7th grader out here trying to celebrate and loses the ball and it goes out of the end zone. Nobody's around you, dude. Cross 5 yards deep into the end zone, then do whatever you want to do. I don't care if you spike the ball or kick it all the way up into the stands at that point in time. I don't care if you do what Seth McGowan did last week for Kentucky against South Carolina and throw it in the front row and hit an old grandpa. I don't care what you do at that point. You're already in the end zone. It's fine. Just don't do that. But anyways, and then the Raiders last week, like you said, back to the Michael Myers stance. They were trying to get him out of it, and then he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to what I'm comfortable with. I did it at Boise State. I led the nation in rushing, so why not? And that's what happened. So he looked pretty good. Can he continue doing it? Maybe so. I don't know. I don't know if he'll be able to do it this week. It's going to kind of be an uphill battle for Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Oakland, whatever we're calling them right now. I keep calling them the thing. I'm pretty sure I called the Guardians last week the Indians as well on one of these podcasts, so I'm stuck like 2 years behind. But anyways, the Colts win this game. I think Daniel Jones is still favorited for the most improved player of the year or comeback player of the year. I mean, coming back from sucking once again. So give me we got to throw that in just about once a week, I think, on here.
Oh, yeah.
But Danny Jones, they get back on track. Mitchell has a big game this week, and he holds on to the ball, I think. So give me the Colts to win. I think that they cover this spread as well. But I think Ashton Genty goes over 100 yards once again. It looks pretty good for the most part, but Geno, once again, doesn't. And Gordon also has the Colts in this.
How long until you start calling the Commanders their redacted name, we'll call it, because try to be PC on the show here.
You know what? I may do it here after a while. Just be like, hey, the Washington football team, because that's the one we're talking about. Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm kind of, I better, stay away from that. Like you said, trying to stay a little PC, but I know I threw in the old Cleveland name there last week when we was talking about baseball, and I was like, okay, I just kind of listened to that back, and I was like, oh, right. Next game we're going to talk about here, it is the Dolphins and the Panthers at 1 o'clock on Fox. Miami's a 1.5-point favorite on the road at Carolina. Gage, can you tell me what in the world is going on with the Carolina Panthers?
I can't tell you what in the world is going on with either of these teams. Tyreek, we've mentioned it. His leg is in another universe right now. Will he ever play football again? I have no idea. I hope he does. Cool player to watch. Apparently not that good of a person, but cool player to watch. Darren Waller might be the Dolphins' red zone threat right now. 2 touchdowns last week in his return game. And he even said it to where I wanted to go somewhere where I wasn't always run blocking and get me out of the Giants, which frankly, you just had to say get me out of the Giants and you wouldn't have even needed an explanation, but I don't blame you as well. The Panthers, I give up. I have no idea. I can't figure this team out at all. I will treat the Panthers how we treated the Buccaneers last year. I will not pick them at all for the rest of the season. Someone better hold me to that, to where if I do pick the Panthers at some point, yell at me in the comments on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, Apple, wherever you listen. Leave a comment saying, Gage, you said you were never going to pick the Panthers. Now you got to do the hot sauce challenge or something ridiculous like that. I hate hot. Please don't do that. But I got to start this week. Give me the Dolphins. Give me the points. Panthers, road to misery.
The Panthers last week went to New England and just got absolutely pounded. After the week before, absolutely pounding the Falcons, who the Falcons come back last week and they beat the Commanders. What is going on in this NFL universe? So, Miami, they head to Charlotte this week without Tyreek Hill. Like you said, exciting player, maybe not the greatest human being in the world. We're not going to make any accusations here that haven't already been made, I guess. But I don't think he's going to be the same player if he does come back. If he comes back, I don't think that 4.2 40 speed is going to still be there with Tyreek. I mean, maybe we don't call him the cheetah when he comes back anymore. I mean, he's definitely not going to be that same type of player anymore with that explosiveness. You can't be with what happened to his leg the other day. There's no way that he's going to be the same player at all. But Bryce Young, I mean, what is this guy? What is this guy? What is this team? So
let me know.
They're looking to bounce back from that blowout loss last week. They're at home. I think that they'll play better this week. Tua has got Achane working again. Achane had a pretty big game last week. Got to get Jalen Waddle a little bit more involved now. I think that they probably will, of course, without Tua or without Tyreek. And then Darren Waller, welcome back, son, to the league. He quits to go rap, right? I believe he quit the Giants to go rap. And then they're like, you know what? Miami sounds fun. Sounds like the place to be. I want to go hang out down there, go play football in that offense. And then, not much going on the first 3 weeks. And then last week, 2 touchdowns. So pretty big game for him. I like Miami in this one. I think Miami wins. I think Miami covers. I'm with you. It's going to be hard to pick the Panthers for the rest of the season. But Gordon has the Panthers winning this game. Now, this would be a good time to bring Gordon on the podcast. Be like, explain yourself.
Yeah, like what's happening here?
I don't know. I'm reading exactly what he wrote. I'm not changing anything up myself here. This is all what he put down. So the next matchup, we head to the 4:00 games, and we've got those Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Seattle to face the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle is a 3.5-point favorite. Gage, this one right here, a battle of 3-1 teams. Could be a really good matchup. Could be
a really good matchup. I think Tampa Bay definitely missing Mike Evans last week. They barely got Chris Godwin involved. The guy had 3 catches. 3 catches, 26 yards. His long was 11 yards. They need to get him involved more if they want any chance in this passing game. You got Emeka Egbuka, who had an incredible touchdown reception from Baker. It was like 77 yards, and I still don't know how Baker made the throw. He sometimes pulls out these incredible throws, and you're like, how? And then he sometimes makes an idiotic throw, and you're like, how? It's the career of Baker Mayfield.
Something to be studied.
Yeah, it really is. The Seattle Seahawks, just, I don't know, not a fan. I know they have not been bad at all. They beat the Cardinals last week, Thursday Night Football, 23-20. And it was a pretty good game. The defense stepped up. Rushing game was pretty solid. Receiving game, passing game was okay. Sam Darnold, 18 of 26, 242 and a touchdown. Pretty basic what you expect. I am going to, however, go back to our roots. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this one. I'm not too sure what the spreads are for the rest of the weeks, but 3.5 points. Let's call this the underdog pick of the week. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win.
Oh, man. So these teams both enter 3-1, and they're going to wear throwback uniforms to celebrate their 50th seasons. That'll be interesting to see. I'm pretty sure, wasn't it last week they wore the creamsicle jerseys that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did?
I believe it was.
Look pretty sweet out there. Luka I mean, he's on somebody's fantasy team right here. Had 20-some points, looked pretty good. Hey, got him, pretty late in the rounds. I'm pretty happy with Ibuka right now. Seattle's defense has played pretty good this year so far. Sam Darnold's been efficient so far. Like you said, the run game's not been too bad. Smith and Jigba's had some good games early on in the season. Tampa Bay's got some injuries going on coming into this game. Mike Evans, can they get Chris Godwin going? Bucky Irving has been dealing with maybe a toe again. I mean, why wouldn't it be a toe? I think it might be something to do with the foot. But you may get a Rashad White game here coming up. That's a lot to overcome going all the way up and playing the 12th man in Seattle. So I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks in this one. Give me the Seahawks. Sorry, Bucks fans out there. But it's 2 weeks in a row I've picked against them.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if that trend continues. I don't think it will, but hey.
I think you're carrying some bad juju for this team.
Maybe so. We'll see how it goes this Sunday. And Gordon also picks the Bucks. So nice. I'm on an island by myself here. At least this isn't a crazy island. This isn't like a Panthers island or anything like that.
No, not at all. Or a Saints island.
Yeah. And the next or the next one here. The Tennessee Titans travel to Arizona to face Arizona Cardinals, 4:05 on CBS. Arizona is a 7.5-point favorite at home. Gage, is there really much to say about this game right here?
Besides for Tennessee might have number one pick again next year between them and the Saints, I'm not too sure. Is Cam Ward the answer? I don't know. I mean, the guy has shown flashes this season, but last week against Houston, completed 38.5% of passes. That might be the lowest I've seen in a while. Barely had 100 yards and had an interception. And we know how good the Texans defense is, but still, you got to do something. And it might just be that the Titans coaching staff sucks. Yes. It might be that Cam Ward sucks. Overreaction, you're 4 games into your NFL career, but it kind of seems like you've regressed from week 1. That's not to say anything negative. Okay, maybe a little bit. The Cardinals, mentioned earlier, their run game, probably going to be non-existent. Michael Carter and Emari DeMarcado taking snaps at running back. Yeah, you're going to have some issues, probably.
Smash and dash right there if I ain't ever heard of one.
But Kyler still can run. He's been doing it. Marvin Harrison's going to have a breakout game.
It's a big helmet.
The guy who's running, like he's at recess playing backyard football. Marvin Harrison, breakout game. Trey McBride, you can always count on him. 5 catches, 50 yards. Did he have a touchdown last week? I don't think so. So he'll probably have one this week. Who knows how it'll be, though. It might be recovering a fumble in the end zone. It might be a rushing one. It might be a passing one for all we know. I can't take the Titans at all. 7.5 is a lot of points, and I'm still going to take it. Give me the Cardinals and give me them to cover.
Yeah, Arizona and Tennessee, both of them, I mean, Arizona has clearly got more talent over there. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to have a breakout game, as we say every week, right? And the Titans, man, just when you think that they may have something going on, just a little bit of something going on, they get shut out last week by the Texans. A really good Texans defensive team. We're not going to say anything bad about that because they really do have a good defense. Offensive, I mean, they're putting up 26 points. They haven't put up 26 points, seems like, combined all year, and they do it against Tennessee Titans. So if that tells you anything about those two teams right there, I don't know what else will. The Cardinals, like you said, lost last week in a close game against Seattle on Thursday night. The Cardinals have more potential in this one. They've got the better team. They're going to win this game. I think that they cover. And Cam Ward said it best after the game was over with. When he described his team, when he said, excuse the language here, we ass. That should tell you all you need to know about the Tennessee Titans right there. You just print it on the T-shirts, sell it at the stadium. And Gordon has the Cardinals in this one as well. So coming to his senses a little bit on some of these here.
It's good to know he's not picking complete underdogs.
Yeah, you just get go just straight underdogs and be like, hey, maybe this strategy works. Yeah. Maybe. Well, the next match at 425, this one could be a good one. Jaden Daniels is back in town, I believe. And the the Washington Commanders, face the L.A. Chargers out in L.A. at 425 on Fox. The Chargers are a 2.5-point favorite. Gage, the Chargers are coming off of their first loss of the season. Can they bounce back?
So I am looking at it. Jaden Daniels is expected to play, so that will be good. for this Commanders team. However, my question, Terry McLaurin, is he playing? As we are Googling it right now, 7 hours ago, Commanders receiver Terry McLaurin ruled out versus Chargers via ESPN. I think that's going to be another big hit. It showed last week that they need him. They need Terry McLaurin because outside of that, who are you throwing to? Diami Brown? Okay, that's cool. He had a good game last year against the Falcons, and that was it. I'm going to roll with the Chargers on this one. No, we talked about it. They took a loss last week against the New York Football Giants, but I think they bounce back. Give me the Chargers. Give me the points.
You've also got Debo over there for the Commanders. Don't know if that's really impressive or not. I mean, because a lot of Niners fans didn't like Debo last year. They were glad when Debo left. So, I mean, look, they're throwing out guys like Kendrick Bourne and Tongus and all this and winning ball games on Thursday nights. So maybe they're justified in that. But the Chargers aim to rebound from their first loss. The Commanders get Jaden Daniels back. They're also trying to bounce back from a bad loss last week, I believe, to the Falcons. LA, they got to get Ladd involved a little bit more. They didn't get McConkey involved at all much last week. The Giants kind of took that away a little bit. Stonehands Johnston, we can't really call him Stonehands. He's actually making some plays this year, looking a lot better, like improved. But this should be a pretty decent game. I would feel a lot better about it if Scary Terry was playing, but he's not. But I'm going to roll with the Commanders in this one. The Commanders win on the road. Jaden Daniels leads the Commanders to a victory in L.A. against the Chargers.
Woo! All right.
Gordon has the Chargers.
To say, who does he have for this one?
Our last 425 matchup of the week, and that leads us to the Detroit Lions travel to Cincinnati to face the Cincinnati Bengals at 425 on the Cartoon Network, on Fox. The Detroit Lions are a 10.5 point favorite. Gage, what is there to say about this game?
I'll keep it quick and painless for you as much as possible. Give me the Lions, and I believe they cover the spread as well. Jake Browning's awful. Jamar Chase might have a game. Yeah, they got some good players on defense. Chase Brown, I'm not too sure how he did last week, but I hope he had more than 3 yards. He had 10 attempts for 4 yards. All right, so we're improving. 4-yard average, his best of the season. Maybe has a breakout game. No, give me the Lions. Give me the points.
The Lions offense right now come into Cincinnati on Sunday, and they are rolling. And they're going to look to exploit the Bengals defense that hasn't looked good the last couple of weeks. Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra, David Montgomery, Laporta, Jameson Williams, they're all clicking right now. And the Bengals need to bounce back. Well, this isn't the game where you bounce back right here, not against this team. Last week, I come on here, and my underdog pick of the week was the Bengals because I'm like, the Bengals still have a chance. Last week was an anomaly. Well, boy, did they prove me absolutely wrong. That was not an anomaly. One of my favorite parts of the game last week didn't have anything to do with the game. It was Jamar Chase coming up to Zach Taylor and kind of giving him a little shove like, hey, what is that about? Like, hey, I need the ball more. The very next drive, Jake Browning throws a pass right to Jamar Chase, and Jamar Chase drops it. And I'm like, man, if you're going to complain, catch the ball. And he didn't. So before I get all worked up here once again, I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to say that the Lions win and the Lions cover in Cincinnati, unfortunately. And Gordon also picks the Lions, and he says, I really want to be wrong here. Well, I want to be wrong here too, but I don't think it's going to. Let's move on. The Sunday night game, the New England Patriots travel to Buffalo to face the Buffalo Bills. 8:20 on NBC. Buffalo is a 7.5 point favorite at home. Gage, Bills Mafia is going to have all day to be drinking and be wild. That atmosphere is going to be crazy Sunday night. Division matchup. Think Patriots got a shot at all?
No. The amount of tables that are going to be smashed, tailgating and stuff, Bills Mafia, like you mentioned, is going to go crazy. I think the Bills are going to go crazy too. Give me Buffalo. Division matchup, so I think they're going to keep it close. Give me Buffalo, but give me a New England cover.
I like it. I think Buffalo is the better team in this for sure. They kind of played around a little bit last week with the Saints at home. They're going to have all week or all day to go crazy there. That atmosphere is going to be wild. Buffalo wins. I think Buffalo covers this spread, actually. Patriots will keep it close early. Stephon Diggs revenge game incoming. Huh? Anybody? Maybe not. So I got the Bills in this one. Get the Bills to cover. Gordo also is rolling with Buffalo on this one. The final matchup of the week. Monday night, the Kansas City Chiefs travel to Jacksonville to face the Jacksonville Jaguars on ABC/ESPN. The Kansas City Chiefs are a 3.5-point favorite in this one. Gage, Kansas City's looking pretty good, but Jacksonville also looking pretty good. Who do we got? Cough, cough.
Mahomes coming off his best game in a while. I think it was the first time he threw, 4 touchdown passes in a game since 2023. So he didn't do it at all last season. And they might be a little bit on a roll now. Tyquan Thornton, let me tell you something. This guy has gone from 0 to hero in a matter of switching teams, in the matter of an off season. And I think they're going to keep it rolling. I don't think the Jaguars have what it takes. Travis Hunter, he's been playing both sides, but not having that much of an impact. Brian Thomas Jr. just has not lived up to what he had in his rookie season. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one, and I'm going to take the cover as well.
Jacksonville, they're hosting Kansas City. Prime time. Trevor Lawrence, Patrick Mahomes. We'll see how both of these teams are after this game right here. Jacksonville have been exciting. Their only loss this season, Cincinnati Bengals. So what changed for the Chiefs the last couple of weeks? Well, the week before last, they played the New York Giants. That game was not very good. I mean, that was an ugly game. Russell Wilson got benched after that game, actually, if that tells you anything. Chiefs really didn't look that good, but they won. Last week, they looked like the old Chiefs against a good Ravens team. And, man, put up 37 points or however many points they ended up putting up. I can't even remember. I lost count. I think it was 37. But what changed for him at that point in time? Well, how about a young man by the name of Xavier Worthy coming back? He makes a difference with this team right here. Travis Kelce, you better stay away from this guy because you all are a different team when he's on the field.
Yeah.
And that offense is going, and they're looking pretty good. And like you said, Tyquan Thornton. These New England Patriots receivers, right? Like, what is up with these guys when they go somewhere else? Kendrick Bourne had a good game tonight. Thornton, I don't know. I'm going to go with Jacksonville in this game here to lose to the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs winning. Give me the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs cover as well. And Gordon also has the Chiefs in this one.
Nice. All right. I think we got a good slate of football coming ahead of us.
It's a decent slate for sure. I think last week's slate may have been a little bit better. This one here is it would be a lot better if there wasn't so many injuries to some big-time players.
Yeah, but I think this one's kind of like a very balanced week. Like, it doesn't feel like there's any games where it's like, besides the Titans-Cardinals one that you have pulled up there, I don't think there's any game that's going to be an absolute killer of a game.
That was my pick of the week for game of the week right there. That's why we're bringing it up. But yeah, it's so like the Bengals Lions, when they put this game at 4:25 at the beginning of the season, you put if you're not a West Coast team, you put your marquee games at 4:25 on Sundays of the afternoon slate. So I'm pretty sure they were like, okay, Goff, Burrow, this should be a good matchup here. And then Burrow gets hurt, and then we've got the Jake Browning experience, which is not going good right now. And it's like, oh, can we flex out of that? And they're like, yeah, actually you can, because they flexed the game next week from 4:25 to 1 o'clock because it sucks. Yeah, but there's some good games. There's a lot of good, like you said, more balanced games this week. There's some games that nobody's going to watch unless you've got them on your fantasy team, like the Giants and the Saints. But hey, it is what it is. I think the Cowboys-Jets game is going to be pretty intriguing. If you like offense, I think this is going to be one of those games right here.
Yeah, but you know what? Since you're gonna harass me for my Saints-Giants game watching, give me them as the game of the week. I think it's going to be a great game.
I'm sure everybody will be tuned in to watch that.
The viewership will be there.
Yeah. There will be people. If there's one people watching, there will be at least people watching this game.
There will be at least 2 eyes watching it.
Well, I think that will. Oh, there's buys. There's teams that's on buys this week. We got the Falcons on a bye after their big win last week. The Bears are on a bye. The Pittsburgh Steelers are on a bye. And who else is on a bye? The Green Bay Packers are on a bye. So, already getting buys early in the season. It's kind of early for a bye week, I think. You don't want to have it too early. You don't want to have it too late. But you got to take it when they give it to you, I guess.
Yeah, let me tell you something. I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all, because then we got to come back and play, 15, 14 straight games? Aaron Rodgers is going to die, like I've said before, behind this offensive line.
When are you buying the Rodgers jersey?
Like I told you, if he leads them to a playoff victory, you might see me in an Aaron Rodgers jersey added to my collection.
If we would have went back 1 year on this podcast and had this conversation about when would you buy an Aaron Rodgers jersey, I'm
Never.
pretty sure the answer would be a whole lot different than what it is right now. What a difference a year makes.
Well, when are you buying the Jake Browning jersey? He's been with the team for a while.
Well, how about next to never? I will buy a Brett Rippon jersey before I will a Jake Browning jersey.
Whoa. Well, all right, then how about an actual one? When's the Mitchell Tinsley jersey coming in?
Oh, man, the Mitchell Tinsley jersey is coming in. You know, I've got a shirt here, that just came in the other day. So the Mitchell Tinsley jersey's coming in, pretty soon. If only Mitchell Tinsley had a good quarterback to throw to him, things would be a whole lot better at this point.
He did have one.
He did have one, and he made a heck of a catch with that quarterback in there.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, but man, I think that will cover us for this week right here. Week 5 is upon us. Should be a good week of football. We'll be back here next week with week 6. We'll see if we can do any better with our picks or not. Gordon, I don't know what you were doing here with some of these and the Panthers and everything. Maybe next week you can hop on and try to explain yourself. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, or maybe he'll prove us all wrong, and he will be the number 1 picker.
You do remember a couple of weeks ago, we mocked him to no end because he picked the Jets. Like you said, it might be a secondary team. I know Rodgers played there, Favre played there, so maybe that's the connection he's got. Justin Fields plays there now, an Ohio State quarterback. We mocked him to no end, and they almost pulled that off, and they're like, okay, maybe he knows something here. So if the Panthers come back and they play this game pretty close and maybe win, we may shut up about Gordon's picks from now on.
Nah, never.
All right, well, that'll do it for us this week, and we'll see you all next week. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, and all that good stuff, as Gage mentioned earlier in the podcast.
Yeehaw!